Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We got another 1908 game for you here. We are on April 21st, 1908. This is a Tuesday, and we have the 1-6 Athletics go over to Huntington Avenue grounds in Boston to take on the 6-1 Red Sox. Here's Topsy Hartzell, rolls a 42 for a 14. He gets an early walk here off of Fred Burchell, he of the W, and that brings up Harry Davis. And the question is, do we do a hit and run right now or not? Let's do it, man. We're going to hit and run right off the bat, and the roll is a 43 for a 29. It's a good hit and run ground ball back to Burchell. Throws over to first base. That moves Hartzell up into scoring position. Here comes Eddie Collins, one of those big hitters, and he rolls a 16 for a 26. It's a ground ball over to McConnell. He throws to first for the out, 2 away. And here's Danny Murphy, and he rolls a 66 for a 0. Murphy hitting 296 before he gets a hold of this one. Next roll is a 45 for a 6, and that is a double to right, and that scores the run. It's 1-0 Athletics here early on, and here comes Rube Oldring. He rolls a 23 for a 30. That's a fly ball over to Kravitz in left field. Granny's got it, and we go to the bottom of the first. And here is Gessler, rolls a 32 for a 26. That is a ground ball to Eddie Collins, who throws to first for the out, 1 away. Amby McConnell rolls a 41 for a 28, and that's a ground ball to the other side of the second base bag over to Nichols, and he throws to first, 2 away. Not Granny, but Gavi Kravitz is up there now. And he rolls a 63 for a 31, and that's a fly ball over to Oldring, who makes the catch for the out. We go to the top of the second. Here is Jimmy Collins. Jimmy rolls a 32 for a 26. That's a ground ball to McConnell. He throws to first for the out, 1 away. And here's Simon Nichols. He rolls a 54 for a 45. Little E is going to pop up, and the rolls a 55 out of the range as a fly ball over to right field. Gessler's got it for the out, 2 away. Here's Ozzie Schreckengost. Rolls a 14 for a 43, and that's a fly ball to Kravitz in left field for the out. We go to the bottom of the second, and here is Harry Lord. Rolls a 65 for a 35, and that's a foul ball over to third base where Jimmy Collins has it for the out, 1 away. And here is Bob Unglaub. He rolls a 42 for a 29. That's a single first base hit for the Red Sox, but then he's thrown out stealing. Realistic given the situation, and up comes Heine Wagner, and he rolls a 21 for a 30, and that's a fly ball over to Hartzell in left field. Makes the play. We go to the top of the third, just like that, and here's Jack Coombs. Rolls a 66 for a 0. Second roll for Coombs is a 42 for a 6, and there's a double to right center field. That brings up Hartzell now, and Coombs is on second base, and this is an interesting moment in this game for the Athletics. They can blow this one open. Hartzell rolls a 61 for a 40, and that's going to remain a 40. That's a fly out over to Gessler in right field, and Coombs is able to tag up and advance to third base. Brings up Harry Davis now. 2 chances for the Athletics to drive in the run. And he rolls a 54 for a 45. That's another fly ball over to right field to Gessler, and that will score the run. 2-0 Philadelphia in the early going. Here comes Eddie Collins, and he rolls a 26 for a 30, and that's a little fly ball hit over to Kravitz in left field, and he does it himself. Go to the bottom of the third inning here now. Denny Sullivan rolls a 46 for a 29. That's a comebacker to Jack Coombs. Throws to first for the out, 1 away. Lou Krieger now rolls a 63 for a 30. That's a fly ball over to left field, and it is Hartzell who has it, 2 outs. And here comes Fred Burchell. He rolls a 45 for a 36 for a ball. That's not a great roll, but he's a pitcher. Pitchers have weird cards like that. Next roll is a 44 for a 7, and there's a single to right for Burchell. Brings up Doc Gessler. Gessler, man, hitting 500. I need to have this part of the screen bigger, or I need to make sure I pay attention to it more. He rolls a 65. And that's a walk because of that W, and that's one of those really, really tricky things that brings up Amby McConnell. McConnell rolls a 24 for a 13 and strikes out, and that does it. We go to the top of the fourth. Here is Danny Murphy. Murphy rolls a 43 for a 29. That's a comebacker to Burchell. Throws to first for the out, 1 away. Rube Oldring now rolls a 12 for a 25. Little E comes up, and the roll is a 12, and that's going to be an error. That's an error on the third baseman, and that is Harry Lord. Sticks Oldring over there on at first base and brings up Jimmy Collins, and we're going to do a little bit of bunting here. Rolls a 16 for a 26, and it's a good bunt. Bunt goes over to the first base side. Unglaub grabs it. He flips over to McConnell, the second baseman, covering first for the second out. Here's Simon Nichols with a chance to drive one in. And he rolls a 24 for a 13. That's a strikeout, another strikeout, or first strikeout rather for Burchell. We go to the bottom of the fourth, still 2-0 Athletics. Gavi Kravitz rolls a 43 for a 29, and that's a comebacker to Jack Coombs. Throws to first for the out, 1 away, and here is Harry Lord. He rolls a 32 for a 26, and that's a ground ball over to Collins at second base. Throws to first for the out, 2 away. Bob Unglaub up there now. rolls a 66 for a 0, and the second roll is a 12 for a 6, and there's a big double for Big Bob. That'll bring up Heine Wagner, runner on second base, 2 outs here, bottom of the fourth, and he rolls a 42 for a 23. That's changed to a 37, and that means that the runner is caught off of second base just like that. Very, very good play there by Coombs. And we go to the top of the fifth inning, still 2-0 Athletics. Very, very, not much offense in this one. Schreckengost up there now hits a 46 roll for a 27 ground ball over to Lord. Throws over to first for the out, 1 away. Here's Jack Coombs. Coombs rolls a 14 for a 43. We'll have another little E roll, and that little E rolls a 55, and that's out of the range. It's a fly ball over to Kravitz in left field, 2 away, and here's Topsy Hartzell. Rolls a 56 for a 34. It's a little pop-up over to Heine Wagner, the shortstop, and we go to the bottom of the fifth, and there is Heine Wagner leading it off, hitting 174 this season. Not so great. He rolls a 23 for a 32. Fly ball over to Murphy in right field, 1 away. Here's Denny Sullivan. Sullivan rolls a 32 for a 26, and that's a ground ball up to Eddie Collins. Throws over to first for the out, 2 away. And here's Lou Krieger. He rolls a 55 for an 8 against the C. That's going to be a fly ball over to Oldring in center field. We go to the top of the 6th inning now. Harry Davis comes up there. Davis hitting only 200 despite that second spot in the order. He rolls a 12 for a 24. Ground ball over to Heine Wagner. Throws to first for the out, 1 away. Eddie Collins next, and Collins rolls a 22 for a 7, and there's a single to right field. And that sets things up for Dan Murphy. Murphy hitting 310, 414 slugging percentage. And we'll take a quick look here at Collins' card because I always forget. And we're actually not going to do a hit and run. We'll let him run as normal. Rolls a 56 as those dice really dance all over the place. That's a fly ball over to left field Kravitz. A 30 is the result. And there's 2 away. And here's Rube Oldring. He rolls a 34 for a 44. And we do have a little E to worry about, and the roll's a 25 just out of the range. That means it's the fly ball over to Sullivan, the center fielder. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and here's Fred Burchell. Rolls a 13 for a 23, but that's changed to a 36, and that's a ball. Next roll is a 15 for an 8, and that's a ground ball over to the shortstop. Nichols makes the play. Simon throws to first for the out, Simon says, and there's 1 away. Doc Gessler now rolls a 21 for a 32. That is a fly ball to Murphy in right field, and he makes the catch for the second out. Here's Amby McConnell. He rolls a 45 for a 14, and that's a walk, and McConnell then steals second base. And the Red Sox might be able to do something here now as Coombs gifts them with that walk, second walk he's given up so far. And here's Gavy Kravitz, and he rolls a 44 for an 8 against the B. It won't do much as a comebacker to Coombs, throws to first for the out. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Here's Jimmy Collins. And the roll is a 35 for a 13. Wrong Collins, my friend. That's strikeout number 2 for Burchell. And here's Simon Nichols now. Rolls a 45 for a 14. And there's a walk, second one given up by Burchell today. Nichols looks fast. Does he have much speed? He doesn't have that 11 that we really like. That means we're going to wind up bunting, I think, with Schreckengost. Kind of odd for the team with the lead to bunt this often. And the roll is a 62 for a 12. And that's a walk against the D. So much for that. Much ado about nothing. That is the reason why I bunt from time to time, right? It's because stuff like that happens, like all the time. Here comes Jack Coombs. Normally you think, oh, it's the pitcher spot. We're going to bunt. We're not going to bunt here. Let's swing away with Jack. He's got a good card. His roll is a 26 for a 27. Ground ball over to Lord at third base. He throws over to first for the out, but because Coombs is not an S, played outfield too that year, by the way, he's able to prevent there from being a double play. They have to hurry up. Topsy Hartzell now with runners on second and third, but 2 outs. And the roll is a 16 for a 26. That's a little ground ball over to second base. McConnell has it, throws to first for the out. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and here is Harry Lord. Rolls a 43 for a 29. There's a comebacker to Coombs. Throws to first base for the out. 1 away. Bob Unglaub now rolls a 13 for a 39. Changed to a 37, and that is a W base on balls. That's why those exist. Heine Wagner now, the runner on first base, and he rolls a 15 for an 11, and that's a single, and that will send Unglaub over to third base. Wagner steals second base on the next pitch, and that is a pretty big play, because that means that we have runners on second and third with nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Red Sox down by 2, and it's just the sort of lineup that Boston has, right? You know, they have the ability to do this. It's just the same as it was in 1949. I don't know what it is with these kind of weird seasons in these Boston teams, but in this one, we've seen a lot of this. Infield comes in for Denny Sullivan. We'll have Denny swing away. And he rolls a 24 for a 13. Of all things you can do in this situation, you strike out. All right, and there's 2 outs now. Runner's still on second and third, and here's Lou Krieger. And Krieger rolls a 64 for a 27. That's a ground ball over to third base. Jimmy Collins makes the play, throws to first for the out. And we go to the top of the 8th inning. Man, what a position to strike out in. Jeez. Harry Davis up there now rolls a 26. My apologies. I put in the wrong number. It's a 26 for a 27. That is a ground ball over to Lord at third base. Throws to first for the out, one away. Eddie Collins now rolls a 14 for a 43. And that's a fly ball over to Gavy Kravitz in left field, 2 away. And here's Danny Murphy. He rolls a 33 for a 0. Here we go. Big power man. He rolls a 25, and that's a 4. That's going to be a double over third base. And up comes Rube Oldring now, runner on second base. Only the 4th hit of the game for the Athletics, and 2 outs here, top of the 8th. He rolls a 23 for a 30, and just forget about it. It's a fly ball over to Kravitz, a left fielder. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's Fred Burchell. Will stay in. Rolls a 61 for a 13. Strikeout number 3 for Coombs. Gessler now rolls a 36 for a 14, and there's a walk. Walk number 4 given up by Jack. Runner on first base now for Ambie McConnell. Gessler's slow. He does have that 11, though, and so we will hit and run. We do want the steal in the plate appearance. My apologies. Rolls a 55 for an 8, and that ends up being a ground ball over to Collins, the second baseman. Throws to first for the out. There's 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th, and here's Gavy Kravitz, and he rolls a 13 for a 14 and gets a walk. That is walk number 5. Coombs now sees his grade go down to a C. And next up is Harry Lord, rolls a 12 for a 24. That's a little ground ball over to Eddie Collins. Flips over to Simon Nichols, the shortstop, makes the play at the bag. We go to the top of the 9th inning. We'll talk later on about these grade adjustments and all the other little fun things that you see in NP3. Some of them might give you ideas for little things you can do in your own games. It's all Bill Staffis stuff, but there's some pretty interesting sort of logic that goes on behind it. Jimmy Collins here, top of the 9th inning. He rolls a 14 for a 43. We do have the little E roll, which we always love. This rolls a 36. It's out of the range. There's a fly ball over to Kravitz, the left fielder. He makes the play, 1 out. Here's Simon Nichols. Rolls a 41 for a 28. That's a ground ball over to Heine Wagner. Throws to first for the out. And Ossie Schreckengost is up there. 2 outs now. 2-0 still Athletics. About to say Phillies. That's wrong. The roll's a 66 for a 0. And here we go again. Next roll is a 14 for an 8. So we found one of the few single-only 8s that he has here. I guess he has more than a few. And that means he's a runner on first base with Jack Coombs, a much better hitter, the pitcher, up behind him. Coombs rolls an 11 for a 0, and the next roll is a 52 for an 11, and there's a base hit. Schreckengost goes to third. Coombs then is able to steal a base afterwards because of that 11. That brings up Topsy Hartzell. If Burchell gives up a run, we'll take him out. I'll put it that way. 30. The roll here for Hartzell is a 36 for a 30. It's a fly ball over to Kravitz, the left fielder, makes the play. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning, and here comes Bob Umglaub. And his roll is a 16 for a 28. There's a ground ball over to the shortstop, Nichols. Simon throws to first base for the first out. Here's Heine Wagner. He rolls a 23 for a 32. That's a fly ball over to Danny Murphy and right. That's 2 away. And Denny Sullivan is the last chance. He rolls a 65 for a 35. The reason why Little E doesn't come in is because that 17 would not be an error against, let's see, 17 is the right fielder. And so it ends up being a little pop-up over to Davis, the first baseman. He makes the play. And there you go. That took us, a little bit under 15 minutes. So there you have it. 2-0 Athletics is your final score. Not the most exciting game in the world, but close enough. Hope you're having a good day. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. See you then. Bye.